I just burst into tears is because it's been tough, man. I was sick, man.
Jamie Foxx is coming clean about how he almost passed away. And you won't believe what happened. Back in April 2023, news broke that Jamie Foxx had been suddenly hospitalized for some kind of mysterious reason.
Jamie Foxx is on the mend. His daughter Corinne Foxx took to Instagram on Wednesday to reveal that her father suffered a medical complication on Tuesday, but he is on his way to recovery after the incident. From the Foxx family, we wanted to share that my father, Jamie Foxx, experienced a medical complication yesterday. Luckily, due to quick action and great care, he is already on his way to recovery. We know how beloved he is and appreciate your prayers. The family asked for privacy during this time. Much love, the Foxx family, the post concludes. The update comes after TMZ published a report citing sources claiming the 55-year-old actor had been hospitalized.
But they made a whole point of not actually saying what had happened to him. And that's more or less how Jamie has been moving forward since, making vague comments or hints about what happened without ever acknowledging the real cause. Now, he's promoting his latest stand-up special, and he's actually using it to talk about what happened and how the female members of his family saved him from passing away, or from Diddy. A former bodyguard of Diddy's is also speaking out.
You being around Diddy back then, you know anything about, his relationship with Jamie Foxx?
The relationship Diddy had with Jamie Foxx, well, I met Jamie Foxx on a tour bus, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, we was at, oh my God, it slipped my mind where we was at, but they was on some friendship stuff, and it was a tour bus, and Puff was in the back, and there was a lot of girls in the front, and Jamie was just real touchy-feely, but Puff didn't come out the back. I don't know if Puff came out the back of the tour bus, you understand? And Jamie went back there for a minute or so, then he just came out, and he was all touchy-feely with the girls, and I'm looking at this dude like, wow, this dude kind of like touchy-feely with these girls, and he don't even know them. They know him because he's Jamie Foxx, but he didn't know them, so I don't really know their real relationship or how close they was. I didn't meet Jamie Foxx and really have a conversation with him until I was at his house and I was with Scott Storch. So I don't know how close they was and how close they wasn't. But when I met and I had a conversation with Jamie Foxx, it was about, he was talking about people coming out there to California in show business, and the rappers and the singers and stuff like that, and they get connected with the gang members, and the gang members have a whole different ideology, and he was telling us that people mess up when they get with the gang members because their ideology and what they want out of them is totally what they looking for, whether you use them for security or whatever. And then this time we was at his house, and Scott Storch was doing some beats and doing some music for him.
And what he thinks about the rumors.
But him and Diddy relationship, and I see what they saying about what happened, and I really want to hear the full story about what's going on with him and Diddy, and if he really said in this show that Diddy, poisoned him, or he's the reason why he got sick that night. I want to hear that for myself, but I know it's trending on the internet, but I don't know how true it is. I don't know their relationship as far as other than he was cool enough to get on the tour bus, fill up the girls and go to the back room and chill with Diddy, then come out, fill up the girls and leave. That's all I know.
And you said him and Diddy was being touchy with the females?
No, he was. Diddy already had some female in the back in the tour bus, and Jamie Foxx got on the bus like he owned it, like it was his. So I know he had a conversation with Puff before he got on the tour bus. You understand what I'm saying?
What really happened then? Apparently, Jamie was working on an upcoming Netflix movie when he started experiencing a headache. A really bad headache. It got so bad that Jamie had to go to the hospital to get it checked out, but the doctor didn't see anything wrong with him. They just gave him a shot and sent him home. But here's where it gets really scary. Nothing actually worked for Jamie. He just felt lethargic all the time and not so good. He knew that something was off. He just didn't know what it was. And that's when one of his sisters decided to drive him around town until they eventually found a hospital willing to take a closer look. That's when they discovered the real cause of all the misery Jamie had been suffering, a brain bleed, which then led to a stroke. Jamie had no idea that any of this was even happening.
What had happened was...
on stage, on the record, and in tears.
Wow, man, please, Lord, let me get through this.
An emotional Jamie is finally explaining exactly what happened and the frightening news that doctors told his family.
He's having this brain bleed that led to a stroke, and if I don't go in his head right now, we're gonna lose him.
Jamie collapsed in Atlanta while filming his movie with Cameron Diaz back in action.
Just like old times, baby.
And with his signature humor, he revealed what his sister told the doctor after they got that life and death news.
You can go in his head, but you ain't gonna find nothing. My sister made a joke because sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying.
But in the Netflix special that just earned him a Golden Globe nomination, Jamie revealed the emergency was sparked by a bad headache.
Before I could get the aspirin, I don't remember 20 days. What I was told is that they take me in to operate on me, and my sister knelt down outside the operating room and prayed the whole time. They said at one point, the first 15 days, they thought they were gonna lose me because my vitals were out of control. That's when a miracle happened, and that miracle was working through my youngest daughter. She snuck into my hospital room with her guitar, and she says, I know what my daddy needs.
Which honestly is one of the most terrifying things I think I've ever heard. But it gets worse somehow.
His oldest daughter, Corinne, introduced her dad at the taping in Atlanta.
It is a blessing to even be here.
Corinne had been updating us on her dad's recovery this past year.
He has so much energy that I'm often like, oh my God, I need another coffee because this man is all over the place.
And friends were sending their get well messages right here on Extra.
I'm praying for Jamie.
We wish him well. He's doing better, from what I hear. We're all concerned, and we just pray for the best.
I take things differently now. That's because you just don't know.
Only we were with Jamie when he made one of his first public appearances.
Cherish life, man. I cannot tell you. I had some people in my life that really made sure I was here because it was dire straits.
That was in March, 10 months after he first entered rehab.
And when I woke up, I found myself in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. Couldn't walk, bro. In a wheelchair.
And Jamie ended his special at the piano with this message.
The doctors actually could not find the original source of the brain bleed, which meant that Jamie would just have to live with the misery for another year. The whole situation was so intense and stressful that Jamie cannot remember a full 20 days of his life between April and May. Can you imagine how scary that must be? To have an entire period of your life stripped away from you without even knowing about it. I mean, he didn't even know what caused it at the time, and neither did any of the doctors. In fact, he still has no idea what caused it, which means that it could possibly happen again in the future. He's actually said since that he now treats every day as if it could be the last for him, since he has no idea if it will ever come back. And we all know that would be a pretty difficult thing to have to live with in the back of your mind, knowing that this might be your last moment. But luckily, Jamie has people there to look out for him. Not only was his sister determined to get him the help that he really needed, but his daughter was also adamant that nobody would see or hear from Jamie until he was fully healthy, healed, and ready to speak, which is truly just the best kind of family anyone could hope to have. They didn't just want to protect him, they wanted to help shield his entire life and career from any potential fallout that could come from him being out in public. Jamie was so dizzy from the stroke that he simply could not sit still. He also struggled to speak, and any public comment would only draw attention to it. Eventually, Jamie did make a full recovery, but I don't think he would have gotten through this if it wasn't for his family. And even he said that he was trying to avoid the devil, who he said was Diddy.
The internet said that Puffy tried to kill me. I left them parties early. I was out by 9. Something don't look right.
Now, Jamie has been pretty vocal about how he did attend Diddy's parties, but that he was gone by 9 p.m. And that's because, in his words, something did not look right. Well, it turns out that he was right about that, but old clips show him admitting to partying with him.
Well, I hang with P. Diddy, a lot, man. Sean, Puffy Combs. We hang out, man. I mean, we party. I call him Black Gas.
Diddy is currently waiting to stand trial for his many, many offenses.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, interstate transportation for. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including trafficking, forced labor, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended performances with male commercial workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as and GH, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media.
But there are a lot of theories all over the internet that Jamie's continued misfortunes are all the work of Diddy himself. Now, we know that Diddy is someone who is more than willing to harm people he thinks are his enemies.
Those heavily armored gear and equipment, I don't think they're actually searching for any items that could connect whatever the investigation is. I would venture to say that those are going to be the guys that you're seeing right there, and they're waiting for that all clear. And then this group that you see there, those are the ones that are actually going to go inside. They probably have, like you said, they probably have ideas what they're looking for, where they might be. So, but right now, it is still a waiting game to make sure that everybody is out of this building and that it is secure for the investigators to make their way in and actually start that search.
And we should mention, thank you, Stu, that if this is in fact involving a sex trafficking investigation, we do know that according to Diddy's attorneys and the rapper himself, he has denied any wrongdoing in any of all this. So there are two sides, of course, to this as this all plays out. But it is interesting that these raids happening at the same time. According to TMZ, a raid of his Miami home is happening right now, as well as now we're looking at the live pictures of what's going on in Holmby Hills at this mansion right here, all connected to Sean Combs. So again, until we find out further word as to what exactly they're searching for and why, we continue to look at the procedures taking place regarding this raid that's being conducted by Homeland Security. You have support from local law enforcement officials as well. We saw from the ground shots, you see multiple agencies there a part of all of this, and they have a number of resources on hand with a drone flying up top, as well as they had ladders taking a closer look at certain parts of the property. And so they are looking at every nook and cranny they need to in terms of why they're investigating this home and property. So clearly this is going to take a while, and as Haley mentioned, with her shot down on the ground right there, more people are coming to your area, Haley.
But whether Jamie fits into that category depends on your opinion. Jamie is undoubtedly a high-profile guy in the entertainment industry, but I don't think he's ever really been particularly anti-Diddy publicly. And he never really posed a threat to Diddy or his friend, Jay-Z, who has also gotten pulled into Diddy's mess, and it isn't good.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet, but it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof drywall ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs's limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
Of course, Diddy has done much worse to many people, so we know he's capable of committing these kinds of acts.
All right, we are getting some breaking news right now. ABC News has just confirmed that Sean Diddy Combs was arrested tonight in New York City. Sources say federal agents with Homeland Security investigations took him into custody. The charges are unclear at this time. Combs' attorney telling CNN that we are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. We, of course, are trying to gather more information. There's a lot more to come out of this story, and as soon as we get it, we'll turn it over to you.
I simply don't understand why Jamie Foxx would be the target for them. However, I don't think anybody can deny Jamie's very bad luck these past couple of years. I mean, even now, he cannot catch a break. Just weeks ago, he was celebrating his birthday in a Beverly Hills restaurant when he was getting frustrated with some other diners.
Jamie Foxx altercation. So over the weekend, allegedly, there was an altercation at Mr. Chow in Beverly Hills Friday night. So Jamie Foxx and his family had went to this restaurant to celebrate his birthday. That's when everything went down. A spokesperson from Jamie's team told TMZ that somebody from another table threw a glass at Jamie and it hit him in his mouth. Another witness said that customers at another table, they was being loud and vulgar, right? And because Jamie was there with his family, he was like, he allegedly asked him, like, y'all chill, just stop, like, I'm here with my family. And they said that person got up and threw a glass at him and hit him in his mouth. Jamie's team said that he had to get stitches and he is now recovering. And the police were called, and the matter is now in law enforcement's hands or whatever. But And it's just crazy because there wasn't really too many details revealed following the incident, but he did post this on his social media. He said, "The devil is a lie, but I'm too blessed to be stressed." Basically thanking everybody who supported him because he just dropped the Netflix special. Yep. Everybody who checked on him and everything. And when you doing good, the devil comes to, try to...
They were being too loud, too vulgar, and Jamie just didn't want to enjoy his birthday like this. So he reached out and asked them to stop and to respect his family being present. What happened next is honestly insane. The guy at the table threw a glass at Jamie's face, sending him back to the hospital to get some stitches. But here's what's so impressive about Jamie's strength through the past 2 years. He never let any of this get to him. Even now, when this guy threw a glass at him, he didn't fight back. He just left the restaurant, went to the hospital with his family, and got the stitches. By the time he posted on Instagram, he was just saying that he was shining far too bright to be brought down by anybody else. It really does seem like Jamie's daughter is the whole reason he's able to get through these kinds of situations.
I want to first acknowledge the most important women in your life and what they have meant for you and how they have stuck by you and represented you.
Yes. Listen, my two daughters, Corinne Marie Foxx and Annalise Estelle Foxx, because I want people to know they're not just my daughters, that's their names. And they are 100,000%, million, billion% pure love. And when I needed them the most, they made sure I'm standing upright and being able to have this moment with you.
It was beautiful during the special and watching the emotion that came out of you, because when your child supports you, it changes your life. When your child is there and supports you.
The whole special, when I talked to my comedian friends, I said, what I went through, I can't come out there and say, knock, knock, who's there? It's different. And to be able to lean on Netflix and Netflix give me an opportunity to tell the story in a way to acknowledge my daughters and what they did when their dad was, in a precarious situation. I cannot explain you how great it feels.
However, it does feed into the idea that some people have about Diddy trying to end his life. I mean, the guy is really going through it right now. And while the brain bleed and stroke can be kind of hard to link to Diddy, we know that he had people he would send out to attack his enemies, which would definitely line up with the glass throwing incident. Of course, even Jamie doesn't think he's on Diddy's radar. I mean, he never even spoke about Diddy until recently. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Diddy is doing whatever he can to try and take out Jamie? Or do you think that Jamie has just had a really rough few years? And do you think that he would have survived these incidents had he not been for his daughter? I personally don't believe that Diddy is trying to end Jamie's life. For one, Jamie hasn't really said much about Diddy. I mean, at most, he has made some jokes about Diddy's love of baby oil, which is not really a justification for any kind of an attack. And while Diddy never really needed any excuse, it does seem like an unusual stretch for him to act like this. I think it's more likely that Jamie was simply stressed when he had his brain bleed, and that the restaurant incident was just some super intoxicated dude acting out and overreacting. But I definitely believe that Jamie's relationship with his daughter is the thing that keeps him going. Without her, would he have made it? I'm not sure, honestly. But I'm very glad that she happened to be there, that's for sure. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below.